Okay, in this video, I'm going to tell you about all about the shell, or like what are its different type, and when you are trying to exploit the different machine, the victim machine, and creating the payload, what kind of shell do we need, and all about the shell. Okay, so this guide right here, you see, this is from TryHackMe. This is their room, all about shell. They have all of these tasks, but these are kind of a bit hard, honestly. So I made my own over here, right? See, you can see these are way easier than this one, though the content is still the same. We will be talking about the shell, the tools, type of shell, netcat, and all of these things. Okay, so I will instead start with this guide. First of all, we will be discussing what actually shell is. Before we actually start anything, we need to actually understand the word shell. What does actually it means, right? Whenever you type the terminal, like for example the cmd or PowerShell, or in Linux you open the terminal and you type some command, like for example the cd command, or in Windows ping command, or anything, does not matter, but what you are typing in that exact window that you are typing in, this is called the shell. Okay, so I can just show you cmd.exe. This is, I can just type like whatever I want. Okay, so this right here is the shell. So this is the cmd.exe, and I have PowerShell in this window as well. This is the PowerShell. Okay, and right now I am not logged in into the Linux, but I would have show you the Linux terminal as well, and you might know already about the terminal. So that exactly is the shell. It's the layer between the human and the operating system. You type human-readable command, the shell translates it, and the computer does the thing. So basically it's like the compiler when you type the programs in high level language which human can understand, and the compiler just kind of translate that code into low level language which machines can understand. So this is this kind of same thing. You write the program or type the command which is human readable, and then the shell translate it, and the computer does the thing that whatever it needs. So on Linux the most common shell are the bash, sh, and the zsh, and on Windows one is the cmd.exe and another is the PowerShell. I will just show you the cmd and the PowerShell as well. Okay, now let's understand what is the goal, what is the purpose of the shell in the hacking. Okay, so when you are attacking a remote machine, say a web server running somewhere, your goal is to run commands on that machine, not on your own machine theirs. So it means when you are attacking a machine or a web server or anything, that could be anything, and you want to you want to execute the command on their machine, not on yours. So if you get a shell on the target machine, you can control, you can read file, you can create file, install software, and do a bunch of stuff. To run the command you need the shell, and to get the shell we have two different ways. One is the reverse shell and another is the bind shell, right? So in reverse shell, we will be discussing these both in detail. The reverse shell, basically the targets connect back to you, not you connect back to the target, while the bind shell, you connect to the target. Both are like opposite to each other. I'm just going to show you what the shell is. So to do that, so I'm just going to type the echo and then the shell. Okay, so this is zsh shell. Now there might be some other user. This is specifically the zsh shell for the root user. If I type the cd etc, now you don't have to do anything with this. I'm just going to show you the shell types. This guy have the sh shell. Okay, and there might be some other user as well. That let me see if there are other user. I don't see, but just you got the overview. This is the zsh shell and bash shell. Okay, so yeah, you understood, hopefully you understood what shell is and why we need one, why we need a shell. Right now let's understand the tool that will help us to give us the shell. It does not matter whether it's a reverse shell or bind shell, right? So let's talk about the different tool that will help us in giving the shell. So basically there are four main tools in this specific room. One is the netcat, and some another is this socket and msf venom and the multi-handler thing, right? So let's start with the netcat. called nc when you type it. Yeah, so when we use the netcat tool, we type just nc in the terminal like this. Let me type this and it will just do its work, right? It is the netcat is a simple networking tool. It has one job to make the connection with the victim machine and with your attacker machine, right? And netcat can basically either listen for a connection or it can reach out to connection. What this means is, let me tell you with this example. Imagine you have a basic telephone or any telephone. You either pick it up and wait for a call, which is listening mode, okay, and you dial a number for someone, you connect to that, you just talk to that guy. It is a connect mode, okay. Yeah, so let's say someone is calling you. You either pick the call or wait for a call, and once you get the call, you just pick it up and you make the connection. This is called listening mode. And let's say there another is the connect mode. It's like, say you want to call to a person B, and to call the person B, you will just take your phone and call to person B, and thus this is what we call the connect mode. And when the another person attends the call, it will just make the connection between you and the another person. When you use netcat in hacking, you will either receive a shell from a target or connect to shell that is waiting for you. So that is the same thing. It will be like the victim machine. The victim will do something like run some command or payload or do some stuff, basically take some action, and we'll be listening on our attacker machine, and this will give us the shell, okay. And this one right here is like you are making a call to another machine or to your friend. This is that example that I have told you. You pick up phone and you call your friend, and when the friend attends the call, it just means the connection is made. So netcat is installed on basically on every Linux system by default, and we actually don't have to download this manually. It's already there in the Linux machine by default. And the same thing right here, the nc.com, this is the netcat as well. It does not exist by default, but there is a binary, the exe called nc.exe, that you can basically download from the internet and just execute that, and just you can either then receive the connection or connect to another machine. Now the big weakness about this is they are unstable. For example, you got the reverse shell or any kind of shell, and by mistake you press the control plus C. So what it gonna do is it will kind of kill the whole connection, and you will have to get the shell again. Now we will talk about this in a bit more detail in this module, okay. We are here right now, we are just talking about the tools. Now let's just talk about the socket does everything netcat does but better. The key difference is that socket connects two things together, and those things can be anything: a port, your keyboard, a file, another port, a TTY terminal. What is TTY terminal? So basically it is saying that TTY is usually virtual, meaning it's software window where you type commands like a terminal, app, or SSH. I don't know if you get that or no, but let's just skip that. This is not our main focus. So socket shell are more stable out of the box. They can be also encrypted. Yeah, so the main thing is they are more reliable. Even by mistake when you type the control plus C, they will work normally. You will not the connection will not be stopped. The main thing over here is that the syntax is harder, okay. And like when you are trying to receive or connect to the another machine, one is this thing, and another is that the socket does not come by default with the Linux. And these are the main thing. And then the same thing, socket works on Windows too, but the shell won't be as stable as Linux. Yep. So it's not very reliable for Windows, but more reliable for Linux if it is installed on the Linux, or you can install that. Another one we have is the MSF Venom, the payload factory. MFS is a command line tool, okay, command line tool that generates shell code for you. Instead of writing your own malicious code, you tell MSF Venom what kind of payload you want. Like, do you want to get the reverse shell or bind shell? We will talk about both of these. Just wait a bit and we'll be talking about this, okay. So, and then what kind of format do you want in exe format, PHP or Python, and what port and what IP do you want to connect. And when you give all of these information, it will just kind of make the payload for you. It will ask for you what you want. Do you want to get the reverse shell or bind shell, and in what format do you want it for computers? You will go with the exe, and if you want PHP, you will just tell PHP, and then you will specify the target or the victim IP and the port you want to connect on, right? So basically this MSF Venom is a part of Metasploit framework, but it is also a separate tool. You can just run it in your terminal without opening the Metasploit. Now when you generate the payload from over here using the MSF Venom, whether does not matter what format, exe, PHP, but let's say we get the exe, okay, and we run the exe on the victim machine. Now we need to connect back, we need to connect that victim machine back to our attacker machine. So for that we need to have a listener on our attacker machine, so that when this gets executed on the victim machine, it will connect to our attacker machine and give us the shell. When you generate the multi-handler, let's talk about this. This is thing I was just talking about. Multi-handler, the shell catcher. When you generate a payload with his MSF Venom, something has to receive the connection. Yep. When the target runs the exe, the multi-handler job, that's the multi-handler job. It will just catch the shell and get the connection and establish the connection. It's a listener inside Metasploit that specifically designed to catch shell, especially the more complex stage ones that Netcat cannot handle. We will talk about this stage and unstaged one. Just assume that this is the catcher. This just when this exe gets executed, it will try to make connection to our attacker machine, and this guy will be listening on listening mode. So this will get the connection, and then we will have the established connection. So I'm just going to end this video right here. It's because I have exam like in a day, and I have to do the preparation for that, and this video will get way too long if I keep recording and keep explaining. So what I'm thinking is that since I have made the guide, I will be explaining. I am thinking I will be creating like short videos on a single module or like two modules, right? So this way it will be a bit easier for me, and this way it will not take much time from me. So I'm thinking like this. Consider this is the part 1, and part 2, part 3 will be coming soon. In the next video we will talking about the reverse shell and the bind shell, okay, and a bunch of more stuff. So right now I'm just going to end this video here. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have any question in any of these, let me know in the comments. I will answer you. See you soon in the next video.